Hello and welcome to Business on the Wire. Q4 GDP numbers just out, so here's unpacking them for you and just decoding what the numbers look like. First up, they're a little bit of a surprise on the upside. The Q4 number has come in at 3.1%. Expectations actually ranged between a negative tick, a little bit of a negative tick, versus about 2.5%, so they've come in higher. The bigger story though is what's happening in the full year numbers, because that will indicate to you that perhaps this figure stands to be corrected going ahead in the months. The Q4 number, like I said, is 3.1, but the full year number is 4.20%, which is a serious markdown from the estimates put out earlier. And here's why. All 3 quarters stepping back have actually been revised downwards. So April to June now at 5.2 versus 5.6. Very sharp markdown in the July period at 4.4% versus 5.1%. That is a serious revision downwards. And October to December also revised downwards to 4.1 versus 4.7. I think it's safe to say that going ahead, there's probably going to be a markdown, both because of what happened in the manufacturing space, where early signs of shutdown started trickling in. You know, the auto companies shutting down, cement beginning to drop off a little bit in terms of demand, and Q4 as well might be revised downwards. Of course, the bigger question is what from here, because this is what we've put behind us, and now we have to deal with the impact of the COVID pandemic. Couple of outcomes over there. Concerned by what's coming in the April core sector growth, which is actually contracted to minus 38% versus minus 6% month on month. Even within the Q4 picture, there's a couple of worrying points that I'll just walk you through. Manufacturing is down this time round. The services is the problem for me, basically trade and hotels. Now, services were not impacted till that period. There was no COVID shutdown, but that has come in at 2.6%, which is a very, very low number compared to what we've been seeing in previous quarters. Ditto for construction. They're going to have a bigger problem in the next few quarters as they attempt to bring workers back into the system and bring projects back up. But construction is down for this quarter at minus 2% or a little more than that. Financial and real estate also hurting. There's also a couple of other problems for me with these figures, which is that private consumption expenditure, basically people going out and having the capacity to spend, has actually come down for Q4. That's one. And the other, the machinery of the economy, which is the government spending. So in that format, gross fixed capital formation, you know, just to give it a longer term, is actually down 2%, which raises question marks about who's going to spend and who's going to be pushing the impetus in terms of recovering growth ahead. The silver lining, agriculture is up quite sharply and smartly at 5%. Remember, agriculture is prone to revisions though, so I would watch that figure. And there is a little bit of a bump up in mining as well. That's the other thing really that's saved the day for the Q4 figures. So net, it's looking like a bit of a question mark figure, because you don't know how much gets revised, and more importantly, you don't know how much pain lies ahead. But let me unpack some of the other details of those figures with MK Venu, who's founding editor of The Wire. He joins me for a quick chat through on these Q4 numbers and the numbers going ahead. Venu, so let's go through some of the numbers that we have at this point. First, a quick take from you on what the Q4 number shows up, because that is a little bit of a positive surprise.
So, Mithali, Q4 tells me something which we must not forget, which is pre-COVID, the economy was in decline. It was seeing a 5-6 quarter consistent decline with a slight pickup towards maybe January, Jan-Feb perhaps, a little pickup. Also, Mithali, don't forget Q2, Q3, Q4, all the 3 quarters, manufacturing is in negative.
Yes.
So that is the story, that our economy was in decline, and it gets of course the last quarter gets worse because of the last 10 days of March, and you see a lot of things going negative. Construction goes negative. Services, hotel, financial service, hotel, roads, hotel, transport, airlines, everything goes, transport as in airlines mainly, and of course other forms of transport.
Yeah.
They all go. So that was the previous fiscal, but the real damage of course starts from April. as far as post-COVID economics is concerned. Yeah,
Yeah,
growth stories.
before we look at that figure, I think the other problem over here is that these numbers are just, I mean, they're work in progress, and that's the problem because the full year figure for just to simplify it for people has been brought down. The full year growth stands at 4.20%, and that is a function of the fact that all the 3 quarters before that have actually been scaled down. So
Yeah,
October to December is down to
yeah,
4.1 versus 4.7. July to September is at 4.4 versus 5.1, which is a huge gap, and then April to June is at 5.2 versus
yeah, yeah,
5.6. It's pretty obvious
yeah,
that come another quarter we're going to look at a scale down in Q4 as well, isn't that so?
yeah, yeah. Exactly. So I don't think we should look at revisions because it's better to focus on the rate of change quarter to quarter. That tells you a more consistent story, right?
Yeah,
So like what happens in Q2, Q3, Q4. As I said, like manufacturing is consistently negative.
yeah,
But the silver lining, Mithali, is that agriculture in Q4 is actually growing at 5%. Agriculture is actually could be a savior for us even in the Q1 of FY21
yeah.
in the
No,
current phase.
yeah, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right.
So.
Mix of
Hmm,
agriculture and mining and maybe public administration, this would have been a far worse picture. But the only problem is that
yeah.
agriculture is also prone to a lot of revisions. I want to come back to the other points that you raised, because this is the space that people are most concerned about, i.e., services, largely, trade and hotels, which is a
Yeah.
really number for Q4, just 2.6, and this is before any lockdown or any restrictions had actually come in.
Mithali, I've seen, not now, over the last, say, pick up any year over the last, say, 10 years, even the years after the global financial crisis, 2009-10, you'll find that services always held up, and within services, trade, hotels, financial services, they'll all be above 7%.
Yeah.
And services would always be in the region of 8% plus. Now, for these components to come down to so drastically, it is very worrisome, and I don't know how these will fare in the post-COVID period. How long will people take to go back to restaurants and avail of all these services? Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So
mm,
services is one, which has come down like sharply lower this time. Financial and real estate again
yeah.
also has come down to that 2.5% range. The
Yeah.
two problem pockets, going ahead because Q4 is done, it's behind us. Is construction and manufacturing. Manufacturing
Yeah.
already showing a slippage. I think also not reflecting some of the slowdown that had begun, in March with auto companies, etc.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
construction, which going to have the devil of a time both in terms of getting labor back and getting
Yeah.
projects back on track.
Yeah. In fact, Mithali, I must tell you, in the context of what you just said,
Yeah,
yesterday I heard Vikram Kirloskar, president of CII. He was asked as to when his own company, which is auto, right? His main business is auto business. When will he come back to normal capacity of operation? I was stunned. His answer was next year. He didn't even say in the next 6 months. He said that it's very difficult. They're not coming back to the normal 65, 70, whatever. Our economy most industries were working at 70% capacity, right? Before COVID, right? Now, to come back to 70%, 65 to 70%, if they're saying they'll take 9 months, it is serious. And in my estimate, and as you said, it's all linked to getting labor back to work in all these sectors, and especially infrastructure sector. I would like to know from L&T as to when will their big projects, start sort of operating at optimal capacity, and when will labor come back? And at the moment, the labor has just got back home, and they must be in a state of catharsis. I don't know when they would sort of kind of recover from this shock that they've suffered traveling by trains and by road and by cycling, by walking, back home.
yeah, I mean,
So,
we already have that anecdotal data, Venu, on how much the demand in terms of MG Narega jobs has gone up, because that's the only thing that's available in rural pockets, and all these migrant labor returning home are looking to do that. I want to do a little bit more of a look ahead with you, Venu, in terms of, I want to simplify it for people watching in terms of who carries the can forward, because things like private consumption expenditure, which has never really seen a dip, is actually down in Q4. And for
Yeah.
the government itself, government fixed capital formation, I mean, this is really, the nuts and bolts of keeping an economy moving, is
Yeah.
actually down 2% in a year where we didn't have COVID and we didn't have a pandemic. So the big question is, who's pushing any recovery going ahead? Because clearly the private sector is hurting, and clearly the government isn't raising its hand either.
Yeah. So, Mithali, here's a bit of perspective. If you look at the NSSO data, for the first time in 40 or odd years, private consumption expenditure actually showed a decline in, I think, year 2017-18, I think, if I'm not mistaken, right? Which was a shocker at that time. And I'm talking about normal times, right? These are normal times. And around that time, we also saw unemployment figures at a 45-year low. So, why I'm giving you these two data points is, this is to suggest that our economy was already in a bit of a tailspin. I'm talking about 2 years ago. This is 2017-18, right? And now, Mithali, it has gotten worse post COVID, because, as you said, the April data. I saw April data for
Yeah.
capital. No, I'm talking about capital goods. You're talking about, right? Capital goods imports have declined 50% in April. Imports, and domestic production declined about 36%. So, that tells you the investment story, and private consumption, of course, is down, and I don't know when that will pick up, because the government is yet to sort of put in place a targeted fiscal stimulus, which will kickstart demand, put money in the hands of the people. That has not yet come. I'm told it is. The finance minister may be doing it in the next 2-3 weeks. I'm told that that thing is still open, and there might be some monetization of deficit also, I'm hearing. So that story is not over. Let's wait and see whether some demand kicker comes from that end. And also, Mithali, one more point which I wanted to make, which is, just remember again, savings rate, household savings rate, Mithali, was 23% of GDP some 6-7 years ago. From 23% of GDP, this has come down to about 16.5, 17% of GDP. 6 percentage points decline over the last 5-6 years in household savings rate. Now, post-COVID, now this is the figure I'm telling you, pre-COVID. Now, post-COVID, I'm certain that people are dipping into their savings. Even people like us maybe dipping into our savings, not just the less well off. And I foresee household savings rate going down further to maybe 15 percentage, 14 percentage points of GDP. So that's a different story. So when savings go down, it has a macro impact on other things, investment in the economy, etc., etc.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just want to tie in with the points you made, Venu, because looking forward is the only way to go now. The April core sector growth, came in at minus 38.1% versus 6.5% month on month. So it's just a signal really of what went down in April. My point is really on what lies ahead. As you said, agriculture is the only shining light. Realistically, though, how much can agriculture pull in terms of weight going forward, and what kind of contraction should people brace themselves for, in real terms, because the job losses have happened, salary cuts have happened. What would be the next step, that we begin to see a wave of MSMEs, struggling?
So, Mithali, one positive impact of agriculture doing well. Now, agriculture last quarter, Q4 of 2019-20 shows 5% growth, right? Agriculture.
Right.
So I think 2021, assuming that agriculture does well, which it is, the Rabi crop harvest has been good, and I'm told Kharif sowing has also been substantially more than last year. So as per ongoing whatever data that has come, now agriculture will result in some positive impact on food processing sector, which is about 17 lakh crore in size, and has some this thing in GDP, as a reasonable share in GDP. Agriculture per se has only about 16% weightage in GDP, but the other allied activities, agriculture could put more money in the hands of labor, agriculture labor, Manrega workers, and other allied service providers to the agriculture sector, right? So that could be a savior, but not enough to pull us out of the morass. I mean, we're not going to get positive GDP growth. The other positive thing, Mithali, could be government spending. Now, if the government starts spending in a focused way on public works, etc., that could sort of push up some, give some sort of fillip to growth and create some income. So, agriculture and government spending, I am looking at these two for the next 6 months. Now, all other sectors, we all know, I mean, airline services, these guys will take long time to recover. So I think these two sectors are the ones which which may have to, on which we may have to sort of depend in the next 2 quarters. And as far as other industrial sector, other sectors are concerned, what I'm hearing is, Mithali, electricity apparently back to 80% of pre-COVID levels, electricity consumption. Now, I don't know how to read that, because that seems to be a positive sign. Cement is also picking up, although cement had declined some 80% in April. I was seeing data on cement and steel, 80% decline in April. I think both may be coming back. Cement may be coming back to at least 50-55% of capacity levels. So maybe in rural areas, construction, etc., may pick up. Government, as I said, government public works may use more of cement, steel, etc. So some maybe growth coming from there, incomes coming from there. I mean, just hoping against hope.
Yeah. One can only hope the government steps up both on fiscal and spending, Venu. And I think it's quite ironic that at the end of the day, we are looking to the farmers to, save us from this situation, a pocket that has been so starkly ignored in the last couple of years. So
absolutely.
Well, thanks, Venu. Thank you for joining in and decoding these numbers with me. Thanks.
Thank you.